Good morning. Is Daf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph and Masechta Nazir. Okay. What happens if they poured this person a cup of Amar and the person said, Hareini Nazir mi menu. I will refrain from drinking this wine. Harei Nazir. It's considered a full-blown Nazir. If you remember, we had before the opinion machlekes right in the beginning of Masechta Rabbanan, Rab Shimon, according to Rabbanan, even if you abstain from one thing, you're already a nazir in everything, because it says miyayin v'sheicha yazir. It means even if you just took wine, for example, you're a nazir. Rab Shimon agrees ad yazir mekulim. If you specify something, you have to specify them all. So somebody's pouring your cup, you say I'm a nazir from that, it's like wine, so you're a nazir. Then the Mishnah tells a story which seems to contradict it. There was a story of a woman that she was actually quite inebriated, and they gave her to drink wine. And she said, she said, I will be separated, I'll be a nazir from that wine. The Chacham said, her intention was not to become a nazir, to say that this cup is forbidden to me. So you want a Maisa lister, you bring a story that contradicts what you just said. Amr, she said in the beginning, just saying me menu makes you a nazir. And then Vahadutani Maisa B'Ishach, story of the woman. I forgot which of the poskim says, maybe the Tracy Placey, that says that there's no nazir by women. And, yes, maybe she said. Might be him. He said there's no nazir by women, only by men. Everybody attacks him from the chumash, from thing, and also from one of the places from this story right here. I just don't remember. This is like in the back of my mind. Come back to me one day. Yeah. Yes. Alma Bahayu the Asr. We had numerous times in the Dorim and everything else. Alma Bahayu the Asr. It seems from the story that on the contrary, she's only forbidden to drink from this wine. She said, this wine to me is like a carbon. But she could drink any other wine. She's not a nazir. So you're right. Kasuri mechsa, few words are missing. And very interesting, the Gemara is going to talk about the psyche of people. This is how you learn. Remember, circumstances are important. Mozgul, we learned last yesterday, we asked him, what was your intention? Mozgul is a case. If they fill the cup, but Aman, he said, Hareini nazir mimenu. This is the beginning of Mishnah. Harei a nazir. He's a nazir. If this person is drunk, no matter male or female, not a drunkard, he's already tipsy. But Amar, and he said, Hareini nazir mi menu, I'm a nazir from it, ain't a nazir. Why? My timer. Commander Amar, I don't like carbon. What he meant was, I'm a carbon. That's all he meant was, I'm not going to drink this cup of wine. Let me say that, or not drinking wine right now. Let me just say that wine is also to me. Why say the word nazir? If I'm going to say that this cup is forbidden to me, they'll bring another cup. Another like this, as Shem explained. If a person wants wine, give him wine. Say, sorry, I don't want any wine. That's it. But if somebody's very tipsy, people seem around, want to have fun. Yeah, let's give him another one. Let's see how they behave, how they react. So therefore, this person obviously is not totally tipsy. He's still in control of her faculties. So she says, if I'm going to say that this cup is us, so they'll say, fine, this cup is us. I'll bring you another bottle. Oh, this wine is even better than that one. This way, she uses an expression, Yosef, they'll leave her alone. Bring the other wine, and they'll put pressure on me. I'll say something, the psikla, it's going to end the conversation. It's not happened with this woman. That's Prat the Mishnah. Okay, the next Mishnah has to. She's not lying. She's saying. But by saying that she's making a loss of a neder, so therefore she's saying this cup is us to me, or this, I'm a nazir from this wine here. The nazir from the wine is that they won't bring any other wine. This cup is us to me, it's taka us to me. She won't drink from this cup that you fill up with wine. Mishnah had 3 cases in this Mishnah. Case number 1. Remember, I just told you about a machlekes Rav Shimon and the Chachamim. Remind you, we had a long time ago. If you're a nazir of one thing, you become a total nazir. Do we say ad yazir is kulam? You have to be a nazir of all 3. If you're going to say I'm a nazir from wine, according to Rav Shimon, it's meaningless because it says mikola yitzvah. You have to say wine. If you're going to itemize it, wine, haircut, tumah. Yeah. Says the Mishnah, case number 1. Hareini nazir, I will be a nazir. Almanas on the condition yain, on the condition that I will drink wine. Or I will be mitam l'meis. haircut, let's say, or one, 2 out of 3. Yeah. Harei ze nazir, the nazir, v'asa b'kulam, and us and all them. Now it sounds like that this will follow the opinion of the Chachamim. You chose one thing, you become a full-fledged nazir. It sounds like, according to Shimon, it says that you have to include all of them. Here, you clearly excluded one of them. Not only you highlighted one, you excluded the other ones. You're not a nazir. But the Mishnah doesn't bring yet machlekes of Shimon. Next case. I know exactly what this is all about. I did not know I just didn't know that a nazir is forbidden in wine. I would have thought that a nazir means haircut. Everyone knows a nazir leaves the hair long. That's what I thought a nazir is. So not that I'm making a tanai that I or whatever. Not that I'm accepting. I'm taking out or excluding wine. I just didn't know that wine was included in the first place. Oh, the fact is you accepted haircut. Once you have one, you can't even know. Rab Shimon matir. Why? He says since you only accepted one, you didn't accept wine, you're not a nazir. Now, does Rab Shimon also argue in case number 1? Is that's going to be the discussion in the Gemara. So case number 1, you said Mefedish, I don't want wine to be included. Case number 2, I just didn't know that wine was supposed to be included. Well, case number 3, I know that nazir is a wine. I know that as well. Yeah, no nazir at all. You're not a nazir. So nothing. Case number 3. I know that nazir is also wine. I just thought I'm an exception. Why? I cannot survive without drinking a cup of wine every day. Yeah. I'm Chevra Kadisha. That's what I do. That's my living. So for sure, it doesn't include me. So I would have thought this is more like we'll see later a shaygid. I didn't think that in my situation this would be included. Now he's pufaket. The Chachamim before was so machmi accepted one thing. Kamasid here, even though he accepted one thing, you thought why not included? Nope, you talked it right. You're not a nazir in this case. And Rab Shimon, who says that if you accept only a couple of things, you're not a nazir to accept everything. In this case, when he said it, I think wine included, he's asr, which is perplexing. I think we'll discuss as well. So now you know what the rest of the Gemara will be talking about. Says the Gemara, the first part. Said the Gemara, I don't understand. Why is Rab Shimon arguing case number 2 when he said, I didn't know wine was included, but in case number 1, when he clearly excised wine from the Naziris, we don't find Rab Shimon's name. Why doesn't he argue Reisha as well? If you said, I'll be a Nazir, but I don't want to be a Nazir from wine, according to Rab Shimon, you shouldn't be a Nazir. I'm Rab Shimon, you're right. We bring up Shimon in the case number 2, but it also extends to case number 1. Why should he not argue in case number 1? However, Ravina Amar, Rav Shimon lived the very first generation of Amoraim, and Ravina lived the very last generation. So interesting how you can have a machlekes between the first and the last generation. So Ravina Amar, Ravina says, sorry? Yeah. Ravina Amar, Ravina says, Bereisha Eloi Polig, Rav Shimon. Yitaka doesn't argue. Now, why in the Reisha, when he says, I don't want wine to be included, he doesn't argue. He'll say that you are Taka Nazir, and the Sefer he argues. The Sefer, we understand why. Consistent with his view, you have to accept Nazirs and everything. But the Reisha, he clearly said, I don't want wine to be included. And if Shimon says, you're a Nazir, what's going on here? Interesting, my time. You are making it tonight contrary to the Torah. You cannot contract yourself out. Look like this. When you said, I will be a Nazir except wine. So when you said the word, I'll be a Nazir, you're a full-fledged Nazir. And then you said, but I don't want wine to be included. I'm an ass that I can drink wine. So what you're now doing is you're a full-fledged Nazir and you want to change the rules. You cannot, like a person says to a woman, I'm a Kurdish, you're a Kurdish to me, but I'm an ass that I'm not obligated to you're a master Mashakosa, but they are Kurdish, but you can't contract out of the Torah. Sitting here, because you said I'll be a Nazir, you didn't say I'll be a Nazir from wine. When did Shimon say you're only a Nazir, you're not a Nazir at all? I'll be a Nazir from wine. Okay. I'll be a Nazir from Taglach, I'll take a haircut. Shimon said you're not a Nazir. He said I'll be a Nazir. So you're full-fledged Nazir. On the condition, there's a new sentence now. On the condition I don't have to worry about the wine. You're going against the Torah. A master of the Torah tonight. That's what comes along there. And we'll come back to this very interesting thing in a minute. Says the Gemara, Rab Shimon will tell you, Rab Shimon knew, taka master master. How come he said we shouldn't argue? Hi, amanas kichutz dami. I say amanas is not like a tanai against a tater. It's all part of the condition of my naziris. It's as if I'm saying I'll be a nazir only of haircut. I'll be a nazir except wine. It's not I'll be a full-fledged, like you learned. I'm a full-fledged nazir, and then I'm making it tonight to try to contract out of some of the din. No. I'm chatchila saying chutz. This is the kind of naziris I want, and therefore, according to Rav Shimon, that's not a nazir. He's not. What do you mean now? Again, remember, according to Chachamim, the reason why you're a full-fledged Nazir is because Chachamim say even if you chose this one item, you automatically become a full-fledged. You chose Yayin and Sheikha, you become a full-fledged Nazir. They don't need to come on to this Masna Masha Kosa, but they don't care if it's Chutz Tnai. It makes no difference. The moment you say a Nazir, even for one thing from Taglachas, even if you say I don't want wine included, you're a full-fledged Nazir. But Rav Shimon says you're not a full-fledged Nazir unless you include everything. So according to him, the whole word why in this case you are because the master much better. I'm another kid of drink wine. Everything. Why? There's your master master concept of master tonight bottle. Clearly, the Bryce is saying that's supporting that even Rav Shimon agrees that in this case you're not a Nazir. Pesach asks an interesting question. He doesn't understand the idea of a tonight. What do you mean? The way David learns here is that this is making up tonight. I don't want to be born. Problem is, we learned things about Rishudis, the ayins there. That where do you learn the laws of tonight from Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven? That you know that you have all the laws of tonight. You have to have the 4 different laws, and if you want to make a condition to overturn whatever you said you'll do, you have to have a tonight. You have to follow the condition. It's my couple, if yes, if no, kein kain malav, so on. One of the things you learn from there, Mark Suva says, is that Yeshua was a shliach of Moshe Rabbeinu because he was the one who brought them into Yisrael. So in order for tonight to be able to work effective is only something where you have the right to make a point of shliach. If you have a right to appoint a shliach, then you can make tanaim there as well. No, as Taisa explained, you total control. I can even give over to a shliach. So I can also make it tonight and unravel it. But if I don't have the power to give the shliach, I can't make it tonight. So Taisa has a simple question. How can you make it tonight by Nazir since you cannot have someone else deciding that you should be a Nazir? So how can you make it tonight by Nazir? That's the question. Taisha's answer is, since, as we learned before, and we'll learn later, that someone else can bring your kabbanis, and we'll learn it again, that someone else can bring the kabbanis, offer the kabbanis for the Nazir, and since because someone else can bring the kabbanis for the Nazir, so it is shaykh to shlichus, and therefore you can make it tonight. Now, this is a very important thesis. The Rabbi Kiva has a very hard time with thesis. He doesn't stand to this question in the first place. We're telling you it's master kosa b'teira. That's bad enough. What do you tell me about how can you make it tonight? You can't make shlichus. What's the difference? Which way you go? Either way, it's a problem. This tonight doesn't work. So that's why you're not. What do you call it? The Holy Ghost falls apart. So what's the difference if the reason is because you cannot make it tonight at all, or because you're master kosa b'teira? But the thing like this. We know in halacha we make tanoim like we Shmuel brought down by Krishma in the morning. If you read Krishma in the morning, you're not sure if you read the Krishma davening in Bismanoi, so you say Krishma before and you have it tonight. If I'm not going to daven in time, this is my Krishma. If I will daven in time, I want that to be my Krishma because it's better to say with the brachas before and after. How can you make it tonight? Can someone daven on your behalf? How can you make it tonight? And Tisha asked a question, for example, when you arrange the question, what about Nadorim? We find you can make tonight by Nadorim. Nobody else can make a neder for you. So the answer generally given is, when do we need a tonight that you be such control that you have to be able to give over to shliach is when you do a ma'isa. If I did something and then I want my words to cancel what I did, actions speak louder than words. If you want words to break an action, then you have to follow a certain set of rules, including the idea that you have such control over this action you give over to shliach. But if it's words versus words, we'll learn a third period kedushin that words can break words. I don't need to follow any of these rules. I don't need to follow the rules of having a shliach. So there's no problem by Krishma because all words, no problem here by Nazir, no problem at all. But Taisa clearly doesn't hold that. Because Taisa has to give a whole answer that someone else brings your carbonis. So according to Taisa, it's not a problem. But let's continue.
What you said someone else can't make another person a Nazir? Whatever the Shmuel Amotzi and the Shimshon.
That's his father. Father is different. Father can do that. Father's a bris, father's a ben, he makes a Nazir, father a couple. Father marries a girl, certain rights. Let's see Gemara. Say Gemara further. Yedian Ishmael Asa, but Amradeshi said Asa. I don't understand Shemat. The end of the Mishnah says the Chacham are the ones who say that, if he said, I thought my situation will be different. The Chacham will say, no problem, you're not a Nazir. And if Shimon says, you are a Nazir, forget what we had before. Look, in the beginning, you say that Chacham hold, even if one thing you accept as a full-fledged us. And Shimon says, if you only accept one thing, you're mutter. And then you say, forget. So you will say, right. First, swap it around. It's the Rab Shimon who says that it's also the Chacham says mutter. Make it consistent. No, I don't change it around. But I have two more answers. Hasam Reisha keep going to Nazir over there in the Reisha. The Reisha, what's the reason of the Reisha? We said I'll be a Nazir from one thing. I'll be a Nazir from haircut. No, that Rabban Dam to feel a Nazir on the Achad men having Nazir. The Reisha, remember the Chacham say that if you accept only one din of the Naziris, you become a full-fledged Nazir. So since you accepted the haircut, for example, you become a full-fledged Nazir. So Chacham say it's us. And Rabbi Shimon Dam actually as him, Shimon says no, it has to be all of them. The mutter. Safer. So what about the safer? This is the same as talking about. Not that the Chatchila you said I will be a partial Nazir. You became a full neder. You made a full neder. And then afterwards you came along and said, I have to take back one of the things that I said. Because I didn't realize I need to live on wine. I didn't realize that they need me for Beis HaKvodos. So now you're being shoyl. And the machlekes is Seif Naziris equal to Tchilas Naziris. The Chachamim will say that Tchilas Naziris, even one thing, unravels the whole thing. So when it comes to shoyl, if you ask back, if you take back one thing, according to Chachamim, it takes back all. Rabbi Shimon says in order to become a Nazir, you have to say all three. So if you want to be shoyl, in order, if one of them, it's not a shayla. It's not a shayla, and therefore it's still asr. Exactly consistent with the machlekes, but now we're talking about next step shayla. So it's like this: say for the Nazir Mekuli, you became a Nazir completely, and then we each mechada. What you want to do is you want to go to three people and say, I want to mimata neder. Is Rabbana, according to Rabbana, the Amri, they say, I feel another Machman having another to start in this. One is enough. If you take back one of them, it also cancels the whole Naziris. In order to become a Nazir, you have to accept all three. Is Kimachel Nami, according to Rav Shimon, if you want to unravel, you want to be matter, you revoke your neder, then you have to revoke all three. So that's why Rav Shimon is one of us, because this is not part of the zero, this is next step. We buy him a third answer. We're talking about benidre oinsin, something we learned about the Gemara in the Dorim. There are 4 different kinds of the Dorim that are not even a neder. We have machlekes the Gemara there when we say they're not even a neder. For example, nidre haboy. We'll see in the Mishnah in a second. You made up, if I didn't see a camel fly, or if I didn't see 600,000 people, in that street over there, things which are totally embellishment, but things that wild exaggerations. So that you make a neder. If I didn't see this, and then this will come awesome, which is impossible. So we say it's not a neder, but what's shot? Do you have to now go be shoyl, and that will be your pesach, because it wasn't true, or it's not in the first place? That's the machlekes here. What do you mean? The boy saying, which category will this fall under? Nidre oinsin. When you made the neder, and the reason why you cannot keep it is because you have no breda. For example, this guy works at Chevra Kadisha. What's the city can do without him? Or the other trying to say suddenly he became poor and he needs the money. He needs the money to digging graves. A grave digger makes a lot of money. Or what do you call it? He thought he could exist without wine. Suddenly became sick. He needs wine. The boy saying, Nidre oinsin coming for you. And the machlekes is whether you have to be shoyl or not, or there's no neder at all. Now we learned when I made a neder, I didn't really want to. For example, a seller and a buyer. The seller says, "I'm not going to sell this to you for less than $100," and the buyer says, "I'm not going to pay a penny more than 50." And then they agree to 75. So they both breach in the door. No, we say there's no neder. I only said it to put a bottom line, which I knew you're going to go lower than that, but I want you to, this is my starting point. These are ambit claims, and you do the same thing. So they call neither Zuzi. I wanted to accelerate the process. Or neither haboy, total exaggerations. Neither goggers, he didn't realize something. Or neither oinsin. Neither oinsin are where there's an einus, things changed. Asi says that you still have to go be shoyl, but that will be a pesach. And Chachamim, And but they came to Shmuel, told him over that Amalei Tani Hitiru Chachamim. Tana says the words Hitiru Chachamim. It starts off Abon Adorim Hitiru Chachamim. Adam Tzich Shaila. Me Shaila Chachamim. No, Rabban is something whole like Shmuel that you don't need to have Torah at all. Therefore, it's mutter. And Shimon says you still have to be mataned. That's why I was the Shemir already say how can you compare it to the Einstein? Over there was an Einstein from the very over there. The Einstein happened later. Here from the very beginning, he worked for the Chayra Kaddish or whatever. So the Shemir already say many should know, but many should say that it's talking about where it actually happened later. He didn't work for Chayra Kaddish. He became destitute. Suddenly he has to change careers and become a gravedigger, or suddenly became very sick and he has to now and for some reason or another, the remedy is to drink wine every single day. Mishnah. Hareini Nazir, two things the person said. I will be a Nazir. I will be a Nazir and I will shave the Nazir. No. Not but it doesn't mean shave. I will take on the kabbanas of that Nazir. We call it galuch is a general name for the kabbanas as well, because you now take a haircut until after you bring the kabbanas. So we call it the galech. But what does the galech mean? I will bring his kabbanas for him. So two things. His friend heard about me. He said, the friend said the same thing. I take it upon myself and I will make the galech Nazir. It sounds like that if I say just ani, he would only have to become a Nazir. By saying, oh, but if you want to take on the kabbalah of another person, he says, well, it says the Mishnah. He might picture these two people were intelligent. Then Megal Chizazeh. Since we both chayiv to bring someone else's kabbalah, you bring mine, I'll bring yours. There's no chayiv that I have to bring your own kabbalah. I can have a like I said before, I can have a shliach. But if not, Megalchin Nazirim Macherim. If not, you megalech other Nazirim as well. Some of the Achrenim want to say that what I said to you about Tosis was lav dafke because Nazir is not words. What Tosis is trying to say is because Nazir includes kabbanis and kabbanis is a ma'aser, therefore we treat the whole Naziris not just as if Nazir is just abstain from wine or abstain from taking a haircut, that's words. But because Nazir also part of Naziris is to bring kabbanis, and the question is the kabbanis part of the Naziris or this is a post factor? Once Naziris is over. Okay, to transition you back into society, you have to bring kabbanis. How do we view the kabbanis? So Taisus before viewed kabbanis as part of the Naziris. This is all part of the package deal. And you have to, because you cannot take a haircut till after kabbanis. It's all part of the Naziris, and therefore it's a ma'aser. Therefore Taisus asks the question of Tanai. If you cannot make a shlich, you cannot make a Tanai. But others learn that no, but that kabbanis is once the Naziris is over, okay, there's another din. And the Naziris itself is merely words. And therefore, there's no problem about making it tonight. Anyway, let's continue. But the not they have to do things. Come another and bring their own kabbanas plus someone else. Says the Gemara, you have a question. If a friend, let's say, heard the first guy said, "I'll be a nazir and I'll pay someone else's kabbanas," and another guy said, "Ani and me too." What does me too mean? The me too movement has to know how far do we go. Do we say I'm taking on everything that the original person said? I do my I'm only taking. He said two things. I'm only taking on one of them. And if you are going to take on one of them, which one? That I'm only taking on one of the things. You said two. I'm only taking one. Which one? And me too. Did he mean me too? I'll become a nazir, or me too? I'll also donate someone else's kabbanas. Tashma coming here. It says clearly on Mishnah. What does our Mishnah say? The Mishnah enunciates that the second person said also ani the alai legalech nazir. Why does the second person have to add the words alai legalech nazir? And only then does the Mishnah say the fact that the Mishnah stresses that the second person also says two things. It's clear. Sounds like if you only would have said ani, it's only for one of those things. If I want both, I have to say the alai galech. Amri in a so we want only if you only say vani, it's only in half the words. And which half? Me, we don't know. I was saying that Asia say for exactly right. You said the fact that he adds the words vani alai galech that I will take someone else's kabbalah. So what does vani cover? And he covers I'll be a nazir. Who told you that shot? Maybe ani means on everything. I the imshuvalai. My comments. What I mean is, when I say valai, I'm talking about the same thing that this person is talking about. What do you mean? Because you have to say that valai is not really adding anything. You're just saying, I'm doing exactly what he's doing, and I'm taking it upon myself. It's redundant, but you have no choice to learn. That's what he's saying. The person's waffling. I'll prove you for the next mission. We'll learn tomorrow. The Tony Sefer, it says in the next mission there, one guy says, I'll take upon myself half a nazir. It's giving half the kabbanis. And it says, Vani, and it says it again. Now, the only thing the first person took upon himself was, I take upon myself. What did the first person say? The first person said, Reuben says, I will take upon myself to give half the kabbanis. Comes along Shimon, and if he would have said just va'ani, there's no two things there. There's nothing to discuss. Obviously, what he meant was, and me too, means whatever you said, I'll do. When do you have to say two things? Maybe because he said two things. There he only said one thing. Yet the Mishnah says, va'ani and I, take upon myself, I, and I'll take half a nazir. What are you adding those words for? It's obvious what you mean here. So therefore, there's no two things there. Why do you have to spell out legalei chatzon? So he said, me too. We know what you mean. Elamai kamat alai b'hamilsum. What he meant was, I take it upon myself this very thing. I will do this very thing. He's only explaining himself. What I meant, I said, me too. This is what I meant. Is just like the next mission, you have no breda, but to learn that that's what it means. Hachanami here too. Doesn't prove anything. Valai just means he's explaining himself. People have a habit to explain themselves. Rabbi says, how can your raya from the next Mishnah has no basis whatsoever. And I would say that valai ani means only one of the two things, and then when you say valai nimegalech, that's the second thing. And why is that different than the second Mishnah? What are you comparing? Tell me that what? That we need over here to say valai because there's two things. You have to spell it out. You have to, vani would only be one thing. Then I can understand why the next Mishnah also uses the same expression of valai. Continuation of this Mishnah. It's like a run-on Mishnah. We're using the same terms. Therefore, the reason why I mentioned over there, because we need it here. If the reish you don't need it, sefer either. The Mishnah says something you don't need, and both times repeats it again. What for? Is that right? That no, ani is only if you say two things, and I say in me too, it's only one of the two things, and which one? The first one, and that's why you add v'alai legalech. He's talking about the second thing. Okay, the Gemara starts a new Inyan now, so we'll continue Mitzvah Mitzvah Shabbos 10 to 10 in Mitzvah Mitzvah Shabbos. Now on Sunday morning, we'd like to learn two blot because I'm not here. I'm going away Monday Mitzvah Shem for 2 weeks and 2 days. I'll be back Thursday, 2.5 weeks later in Mitzvah Shem. So we'll resume back.